What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. I want to finish up with my video from yesterday. It was kind of windy, and I was going in and out. But I want to talk about how we must start loving ourselves first, or maybe I can just say just putting up a video freestyle, but start loving ourselves first. When I talked about the other day how I feel that people like Umar Johnson is insulting our community by calling us American Africans, that's insulting. It really is, because he's want to take part in our erasure of true Aboriginal history here in Americas. And he used the term pretendians, and then he wants you to give his ass money for his little school. That Negro has a lot of issues and problems, man, and deep level self-hate. He has a lot of issues and problems and a deep level of self-hate, man. The problem with that Negro, man, is the fact he wants to make every single so-called black person an African. And that type of information is wrong and inaccurate. But he's been doing that. And the sad part about it is, man, is that he seems to continue to disrespect the community with BS nonsense. It's truly sad that he's doing that. And you get these other idiots on there who try to downplay the information. I'm noticing they're all over the country, but I'm noticing a lot of these Negroes come from the Northeast, man. And not all people from the Northeast are coons, but it's like a coon element, a special coon element in that Northeast corridor that's pumping that nonsense that we weren't here prior to slavery, when there's so much documentation that we were here before slavery. We had great empires globally. But these Negroes, man, pushing that agenda, and you can tell either they are informants or they just ignorant. I say both. But a lot of these Negroes, and not all, but a lot of these Negroes are not of our lineage, and they do not want us to know our true lineage and our true history, because it will unlock the minds of our people, and our people start to realize that they have been misled by nothing but charlatans who are charismatic in the way they spoke to people. So we're going to have to move on for these niggers, all right? Because they continue to push an agenda that's very destructive to us, our people. We can't continue to listen to nonsense. Like I said, when I said that Umar don't know what the hell he's talking about, and he gets up there, especially with history, he don't know what the hell he's talking about, because he continues to push this lie, and he continues to insult our ancestors who built this land. And then you get a lot of these other Negroes who try to say, no, it's the white man's land. No, this is our land, damn it. And you had, in order for white folks to take control of anything, you always had to have traitorous people who look like you to show them the terrain, or willing to do something so they can get some trinkets or power over a region that they didn't have power over, or they believe they're going to get that power, but end up being used and being flipped on by that same individual who they was catering to. These Negroes, man, have done damage to our community. That's why when you listen to that dude, like I said before, Lex Vortex, attacking the so-called the Indians, it's sad calling you the term pretendians. It's sad because it's obvious that these Negroes have not done any real research. They have not done none. And it's really, like I said, I gotta admit, I was fortunate to have the access to that information. So a lot of brothers and sisters who do not know, I'm not gonna really go hard on them. But these other Negroes, man, who go around just trying to deny everything and say that we just come from Negro land or the Western Sudan, really, man, have not done a real research, but they some assholes. They really are. And like I said in my other videos, they're traitors. They're sellouts and they're traitors. Because only a sellout would deny the obvious, that we were already here. And it's not no hotep nonsense. There's Negroes going around using the term hoteps. so-called Aboriginal black people of this planet were all over this planet. Excuse me, they were all over this planet. When you look at the Andamanese Islands, those little Negroes were originally in that region, over the Andaman Islands right off of India, all right? Then the original Indians were black, all right? And there's still millions of them there, all right? And they come in various different hair textures and various different phenotypes. Then you have a lot of black people, the Aboriginal black people of the Philippines, who look different from the ones in the Andaman Islands, but you got to tell these little Negroes, Negritos, they are Ejita people. All right, and obviously you have the black people of the Pacific Islands. They don't all look alike. And remember I said before, whether it's called Melanesian, Micronesian, Polynesian. Melanesian just means black. Micronesian means small. Polynesian means many. So that means the black islands, the small islands, the many islands. All three of them were originally populated by black people, melanated people, Negroid people. All three of them were originally populated. It's that with the Melanesia, with Fiji, you have two types of blacks. You have the black Indian Fijian, and you have the black Aboriginal Melanesian Fijian. And then you have in Polynesian, they originally were black, but then some of them were mixed in with non-black Asians, and then white folks. And then the Micronesians were originally black, but some of them was mixed with non-black Asians. And them black folks been in those islands for thousands of years. See, I try to, when I constantly hear Negroes keep talking about you come from the transatlantic slave trade, I want to throw up, man. That is information. I'm not saying those slaves were not brought here. A lot of them came from Europe. I mean, a bunch of them came from here, especially here in North America. But most of our people are already here, and they mixed in a lot of those black expelled Moors coming from Europe. If you look at our physical structure, in so many instances, we look different from the so-called West African. There's a few, but we look physically different. Yes, they're black, melanated. We're melanated, black. But there's a physical difference. There's a physical difference. But see, when you just sit there and taught by your oppressor, who teaches you that all your people just come from West Africa, and you look like one type, you're buying into nonsense, and you're also helping to erase your true history. Remember I said how the white scholars try to do the 7 different races of Africa, and one of the 7 different races of Africa was the true Negro. So the other people weren't black. That's their way to write themselves into history. You got to be careful, man. These people have done so many things, so many trick phrases to write themselves into the history that they had nothing to do with. Nothing to do with. Right? But we got to wake up and stop allowing charlatans to help write us out of the history. We don't need a Wakanda, even though you have a Wakanda here in the Americas, or you have a Wakanda here. Or we don't need a make-believe T'Challa, even though you had a T'Challa here in the Americas. We don't need that to feel proud of ourselves. Some make-believe land, supposedly in Africa, when we had great black empires all over the globe, but particularly here in the Americas, man. You had great stone structures built here in the Americas, man, that our ancestors built. Great highways that ancestors built. They created caves that you can travel through. So they had some form of explosive material to blow open, to blow through holes and to cut and carve structures and cut into caves, man. Our ancient ancestors did all that. But see, some of you can't fathom that because you believe that they were primitive, backward niggers. That's a lie. So we have to stop that. No, I'm serious. We're going to have to stop that one, man. That's why I don't listen to the clowns like Lex Vortex or Umar Johnson. They say Umar Johnson is a very charismatic speaker. But what he's saying is reckless and dangerous because he's limiting the reach of our people. See, them ancient, when you see those boats when they're dealing with ancient Egypt, they weren't just talking about some funerary stuff, man. You know that a lot of that stuff had to do with some of the funerary aspect of the next life, the underworld, whatever. But They actually had boats where they traveled. And they did have wooden ships to do deep sea travel. That was done. But you have to understand your true history and stop allowing others to tell your capability, what your capabilities could have done and what reach you've done. You can't listen to other people because they do not care about you. All these other people want to do is hijack you and put you in one box and you're a West African, send them West African slaves, which is a lie. There's too much information out there. And a lot of stuff, like I said, you can pick up on Mediterranean race, olive skin. Man, all they just talking about Negroes with very different skin tones. Pale-skinned people are not indigenous to nowhere. And then these Negroes talking about, well, I'm indigenous to Africa. We're African, and the white man European. No, the white man is not European. They come from Central Asia. They don't come from Europe. Europe was once wholly populated by so-called black people. I showed you the image of King James, the king of England and Scotland. I showed you images of King James. That was unquestionably a Negro holding that round ball, that orb in his hand, represents the rulership of the world. I showed you images of certain popes, Negro popes. I talked about Saint Sylvester I, who was your original pope, Negro. And like I said, all them popes were black till later on. All of them were. These bastards hijacked everything. When you look at the image of the pope, everything he's wearing is close to what Osiris was wearing, or Asa was wearing. Because they took that from ancient Kemet Tamaray. They took that from it. I said Kemet Tamaray because you had the Egyptian Empire, or so-called Egyptian Empire, wasn't just in Northeast Africa. It was around the damn globe. But we gotta just, unfortunately, a lot of those Negro scholars have just made everything in Northeast Africa. No, man. The empire was around the globe. That's why you see that in them images of Angkor Thom or Angkor Wat, when you see them heads carved into rock, when you see the Olmec heads carved, rock was carved, like where they cut into rock and create those heads. And you see those type of images over in Canada because we had a global civilization. A global civilization that was around the planet. Like I said, I got numerous of books. I got numerous of books about ancient stargazing. How they sailed around the world by studying the stars. How they knew how to counter streams when they sailed in their boats. How they knew, how they designed a lot of pyramids that align each other on different continents. They align with one another in a straight line. Our ancestors knew this, man, because they studied the stars. They were stargazers. They were the original astronomers. But you have to know this. You're going to have to want to know this. Relegate your history with some 1619 garbage, man. I can't take that. And you got Negroes who still pushing it. Black Americans did not come here before Columbus. They came in. When you hear stuff like that, that right there, you should tell that person really ignorant. They're really ignorant, and they're sellout. Because they refuse to learn something that goes beyond what they were taught in the educational school system. When you hear Negroes say that, and they insult a lot of our brothers and sisters, calling them pretendians, those Negroes are straight up buck dancing, man, for a Kentucky biscuit. I'm telling you, man, these Negroes have sold us out. You look at so many inventions in this country invented by Aboriginal Black Americans, Aboriginal Americans. They weren't invented by other people, they were invented by us. Why? Because we knew the lands. We're from here. We're not African, man. And that may piss a lot of people off, but we're not African. We are descendants of Aboriginal Blacks here. They were Africans who came in and mixed in with the Aboriginal Blacks here. They were absorbed, but we're not African. No, we are the Aboriginal Blacks of this land. But some of our people don't want to hear that. Like I said, use the term like hoteps and everything. I'm getting tired of that. Hotep has nothing to do with this. Hotep is what Umar Johnson's pushing. That's Hotep nonsense. Umar Johnson, he pushes a pipe dream, or better yet, he wants us to ignore our true culture, our history, and who we really are, and just be something and someone, or linked to a culture 1,000 miles away. No, man, I'm not with that, dude. I'm not on, so let me make this clear. I'm not into that tribal stuff too, because that helped destroy us. Everywhere you went with so-called black people. Tribalism was the downfall in so many instances, because too many people fighting, infighting, and eventually people of other skin tones rose to power in that region. They control those regions. So the tribalism stuff I can't get with. I hear people talking about just take pride in your tribe. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That was our downfall. And I said that in many of my other videos. That's the downfall. But what we do need to do is really study and know our true history, who we truly are. We have a history. We don't need to listen to Burma Boy and tell us who we are. We are Aboriginal to this land. But some of you do not want to take that information. That's the sad part, because you have been solely indoctrinated. Plus, like I said, we had these informants in our community, man, who were just basically feeding misinformation to our people. That has to stop. So, I want you brothers and sisters to continue to seek that knowledge and seek that growth and get that knowledge. I'm going to continue to do my videos, man, with all the information. I'm also going to do some other videos with dealing with our history. You know, I have images showing that the original Greeks obviously were black, showing them with cornrows. It's statues that were cornrows, man. And then I'll talk about how they showed those little fake-ass marble statues, man, which was just made probably like 100 years ago, man. They put them in museums. They display that as historical truth. And the statues are so fake. You can tell they're fake because there's no age on them. This is how you can tell a lot of those statues are fake. A lot of them, you don't see no age on them, no weather deterioration on them, no age deterioration on them. That stuff is fake, man. They ain't passing these museums, man. And they have the real stuff in the back. I've seen this myself. All right, brothers and sisters, peace and love. I love you. That's just a quick video for this bottle. All right, peace and love. I love you.